Hello, kids. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, and it's story time. Specifically, how to build a record library in 1953, courtesy of Howard Taubman, music critic at the New York Times. And now we're up to chamber music. Oh, yes. So let's get right to it. It's on page 36. Now, as with all of Taubman's lists, there is the A list, the essential stuff, and the B list for deeper listening, if that's what you're into. And so we're going to look first at the A list. And here it comes. It's actually interesting first to take a look at what he says about chamber music, with which I disagree violently. Well, he says, "You've probably heard this before, but there's no harm repeating it. Chamber music is the most intimate and very possibly the most expressive form of musical creation. It is music purged of all dross. A composer writing for orchestra or the piano can bluff, can cover up lack of musical content with instrumental color or virtuoso tricks, but he can't do that in chamber music." Oh, where do we start unpicking this incredibly stupid comment? Well, let me just put it to you this way. The idea that instrumental color is a bluff and is not as important a musical quality as, say, counterpoint or part writing, independence of line. I mean, it's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Timbre, color, dynamics, accent, texture, the balance between thick and thinner textures. I mean, it's just absurd what this man is saying. And he's saying, of course, he's trying to make the case that we should listen to chamber music, and I get it, and we should, because it's marvelous, and because it's as good as anything else out there. But is it better because it's lesser? No, I don't buy the austerity bullshit. I just don't. I never have. And this whole business, virtuoso tricks. Virtuosity is also a legitimate musical quality. Always has been. Some of the most virtuosic music ever written was written by Bach. Bach's organ music was so virtuosic it wasn't played for most of the 19th century. It was considered impossible. No one accuses Bach of mere virtuoso tricks. I mean, come on, Howard. Get with it. All right, but that's the point he's trying to make. I get it. It's the common coin of music criticism to say that. But it's so unthinkingly stupid. Oh, yeah. Okay, with that said, let us get to chamber music, the basic list, and see what's available. And then we'll have a couple comments after that. Bach, of course. Sonatas numbers 1 and 2 for cello and piano. Cello and piano, get it? Piano, not harpsichord, piano, with Pablo Casals, a no-named pianist. Sonatas and partita for unaccompanied violin. Heifetz. Everything for violin is Heifetz. Of course. Sonatas for violin and harpsichord. Schneider and Kirkpatrick, Ralph Kirkpatrick. So the harpsichord was starting to infiltrate back in those days. And suites numbers 2 and 3 for unaccompanied cello with, you knew it, Pablo Casals. So there we go. Beethoven. String quartets. Okay, we've got all the string quartets, basically. Yes, here they all are with the Budapest Quartet. These were their mono recordings, and they're very, very good. I mean, so that's really a nice recommendation on Columbia. Then we have the Archduke Trio with Heifetz, Feuermann, and Rubinstein. I mean, you know, what's not to like with that collection of people playing? And then we've got, let's see, violin sonatas, a bunch of violin sonatas with Fournier. That looks like a typo. I mean, Fournier, maybe it's a different Fournier. Who knows? On Westminster. Some of you guys will know what it was. I have no idea. Violin sonatas number 3, opus 12, number 3, number 4, whatever, with Zeno Francescatti and no-named pianist. All the violin sonatas, let's put it this way. And they only list violinists. There's Fuchs, there's Heifetz, and there's the Kreutzer Sonata, more Fuchs. And that's what you get with Beethoven violin sonatas. And that's Beethoven's chamber music. So there you go. Solo keyboard stuff is coming later. Don't panic. Brahms, the clarinet quintet with the fine arts but no clarinetist. On Decca, the piano quintet, Budapest, with no pianist. On Columbia, the string quartet in C minor, Budapest. Budapest is going to come along pretty well here. String quartets with Curtis on Westminster. I love these things. I mean, it's just so helpful informationally, isn't it? The quintet, the string quintet in F with the Vienna Concert House, whatever they're called. The Vienna Concert House, they don't fill in the blank. And the string quintet in G, Opus 111, no LP. You're supposed to just know that it exists and hope and wait. Kind of interesting, huh? And the violin sonata in D minor, Stern, on Columbia. And it's very interesting, Brahms, here, because, we don't have the piano quartets, and we don't have the sextets. Oh, my God, how terrible. And there's just all kinds of stuff here that's missing. Debussy, string quartet with the Stuyvesant Quartet on the Philharmonia label, and they do the Ravel, of course, as well, because everybody does, so we'll skip over Ravel when we get to him, because he's on the flip side of the Debussy, and he's listed there. Dvorak, piano quintet. Which one? Apparently there's only one. There was only one in 1953 with Chigi. That's it, Chigi. And let's see, the string quartet in E flat, Opus 51, with Boskovsky on London, Willie Boskovsky, and others, one presumes, unless he played all four parts. And that's it for Dvorak, the greatest chamber music composer in the second half of the 19th century. Just two sort of anonymously described works. And then we've got, of course, the Franck Violin Sonata with Francescatti, and no pianist. The Haydn string quartet, the Lark, and then the Opus 17 string quartets, all of them with Sascha Schneider on Haydn Society. Boy, there wasn't much Haydn. If they're doing all of Opus 17 before anything else, that's weird. That is a weird choice. And then we have string quartets in D minor, Opus 76, number 2, and number 3, the Emperor. Well, the Emperor is not in D minor. The Emperor is in C major, if my memory serves. So, oops, well, okay. And it's just Barchet, whatever that means. I mean, these are really lazy, sloppy. I mean, it just goes to show you that there probably wasn't anything else in this repertoire, because you couldn't mistake it. Otherwise, they would have had to give us more information, or, usually. Mendelssohn, the octet and string quartet number 3. Stradivari, on Stradivari. Okay. And the trio in D minor, Heifetz, Piatigorsky, Rubinstein. Yay! Now we get to Mozart. Okay. Mozart, the Divertimento in E flat. Well, yeah, of course they had that. The K 563 for string trio, because you have Heifetz, Primrose, and Feuermann doing it. And then we've got lots of quartets with the Budapest Quartet and Roth. Whoever Roth is. Lots of string quartets with Roth on Mercury. It's the Roths on Mercury, and then the quintet in C major with the Budapest Quartet, and more quintets with Budapest, and lots more quintets, the G minor and the E flat. It's all the quintets with Budapest. So that's Mozart. And that's it for Mozart as well. And then I said we skip Ravel. Schubert, the Arpeggione Sonata with Feuermann, the Trout Quintet with Budapest and no pianist, the trio, Opus 99 with Heifetz, Feuermann, and Rubinstein. Okay. And the next trio, number 2, with Busch, and Sirkin. Not too shabby. The string quartet in A minor, Opus 29, it's called, with Vague, Sándor Vague. Yeah, the young Sándor Vague. That would have been hot. And the Death and the Maiden with the Hungarian concert hall, Hungarian quartet. And the quartet in G, the last one, with the Vienna Concert House Quartet on Westminster, and the quintet with Budapest. Just Budapest. Schumann, the piano quintet. Paganini. Paganini is playing the Schumann piano quintet all by himself, evidently, on Victor. The string quartets, let's see. The Italian, the Quartetto Italiano. The Italian. Or the string quartets in A minor and A major, Opus 41, numbers 1 and 2, with Curtis. That's all we know. Smetana, From My Life. The Stradivari people are doing that again on Stradivari. And that's it. That's the A-list. Kind of shocking, isn't it? One of the things we notice about chamber music, though, is that the really hardcore stuff, there's the Beethoven stuff, the Mozart stuff, that's available. And the paradox in chamber music is that, it's very inexpensive to make because you don't have lots of people involved, but nobody cares about it. So you're not going to sell very much of it. And so that's why Mr. Taubman undoubtedly was making that plea for the superiority of chamber music, which, of course, like I said, is just nonsense. But it's an interesting list nonetheless. And it's interesting the way it's listed because it tells us that there just wasn't much around. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.